Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. Now, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituent, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. Now, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders accountable, well, make sure that you subscribe to our social media platforms. Currently, right now, we are streaming this live program on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. You could find us under Frankie Olivo. Also, if you want to follow my personal page, you could do so. I could be found under Olivo Frankie. But most importantly, we ask that you create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, and subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., a little bit after, religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Brownsville, I will never ever ask you for money. I will never ever ask you for food. Well, depends what you're making. If you would like for us to continue with what we've been doing about talking about the important issues, about bringing to the forefront issues that are pertinent and important to your household and our everyday lives, all I ask is something very simple: to support the cause, to subscribe to all of our social media platforms. More importantly, to subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Brownsville, we will not be silenced. And always remember, we will forever be grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide our program. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope each and every one of you had a great, restful, eventful weekend. Hope it was filled with love and happiness with your friends and loved ones. I myself am currently under the weather. I've been dealing with with a cold. Some say it's COVID. I say it's a cold. But nonetheless, the show must always go on. The circus does not stop for a changuito. A lot has been happening as of late, ladies and gentlemen. Last Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken, we did report on issues that were occurring at certain elementaries. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about our program. At the end of the day, I'm immune to it all. My life has been threatened. I've been threatened with lawsuits. We're still here. People think that by threatening me or calling me out or, they think that they're going to disrupt our program, that's going to cause me to be scared. Oh. For those that know me, that only fuels me. That only keeps me going, gives me more motivation. I take great pride in what we do. And we are thankful to the community that reaches out to us and expresses their concerns. There is no doubt in my mind that people live in fear at the Brownsville Independent School District. And I'm talking about teachers, employees. But now what is even more disheartening is that parents are reaching out, that they live in fear. They have shown me videos of their loved one, of their child, crying for something that an employee, a teacher, administrator did to them. That's very alarming to me, and it's very concerning. And I always sit back and I ask myself, why me? Why are they bringing this attention to me? We would think that they would go through the proper channels to have their issues addressed. But what we learn from this all, ladies and gentlemen, is that their voices isn't heard. BISD being one of the biggest employers south of San Antonio with close to 6,000 employees. It's a monster. It's a huge district. And we have heard of stories of how administrators, board members, people in leadership positions talk down on others, instill fear in others. At first, I didn't realize, why me? Why do they come to me? It dawned on me yesterday, and this isn't something that just came to my realization, but it kind of reinforced it. People had genuine concerns about what is happening at Pullum Elementary before today's post that we made. People had genuine concerns about what is happening at Benavides Elementary. I was shocked to learn of what's been transpiring as of late. Teachers intimidating parents? Teachers intimidating students? What? Have we stooped that low? Are they now in a position where they cause fear in students, where students are crying and not wanting to go to school? I treat this job, it has become my job, very seriously. And last night, before I went to bed, I started reminiscing and going through the different messages that I received this past weekend. And something kind of motivated me, uplifted me when they said, "You are our voice." And I'm not here to pat myself on the back. I'm not here to pop my collar. People that know me, I'm a very humble individual. I don't need notoriety. I don't seek attention. I'm not here looking for likes. I'm not here looking for clout. It inspires me whenever people come to me with their problems and say, "Can you help me?" Because I went through the proper channels, and each and every time I've been called that I'm crazy. I've been belittled. I've been ridiculed. My child has felt the wrath of this. Now, I'm very hesitant about what I post. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I always make sure that what we have before us is factual. I always ask, do you have evidence? But whenever multiple people, multiple concerns come in to our platform, we know there is something. Whenever we post something and say, "Hey, yes, this, but you need to focus on this." I have a problem whenever people try to discredit. Forget me. Again, whatever I say, But I have a big problem, ladies and gentlemen, whenever people want to discredit a concerned parent. Whenever they want to discredit a child that feels tormented. That's where I have a problem. I made a post. We got information regarding Benavides from several concerned parents. And when I made that post, a teacher went on there. She said, "Oh, no, you got it wrong." Are you trying to discredit me? Are you trying to discredit the parent? Are you trying to discredit the child? And then I went through that person's likes, and someone said, the majority of them, they're teachers. They're staff members at Benavides. Is there a culture of retaliation, ladies and gentlemen? Is there a culture of instilling fear? Yes. This has been going on for years. This is something that my former predecessor fought vigorously for. And he always taught me a very important lesson. He said, you give a voice to the voiceless. If people's concerns aren't being addressed, you address them. You amplify that issue. You make us think about it. And look, we're very thankful and humbled by the response and reception that we have received from our community. We are watched by the thousands, ladies and gentlemen, and I say that with all humbleness. I will never, ever let it go to my head, Brownsville. I am forever grateful to those that were kind to my predecessor, to those that are kind to me. I take this very seriously. So I got information that I was going to wait on it. I was going to hesitate on it. I was going to, because, and I started asking people, look, I'm a man. Whenever a man starts bashing females, it looks bad. In my opinion, it looks bad. And I'm always very hesitant to do so. Because people always look at it in a bad way. No matter what my message is, they always say, cobarde, this, that. So I'm always very hesitant. If it's a male at the school district, at the city, at the county, let them have it. But whenever it's a female, it looks bad. We were recently informed of information that two supervisors, two administrators were suspended for having for doing the hokey pokey on school grounds on district time. We know the names. We know who they are. I think you can put two and two together. But I'm hesitant because it's a female. And I always walk that fine line with a female because at the end of the day, I'm always the one that looks bad. So I'm very careful about what I post, about what I talk about. But whenever a person wants to discredit me, whenever a person wants to discredit a parent, a student, be careful. Because I have information on that person making that claim, and it's not good. Again, you want to discredit me as a person? Go ahead. You want to talk about my previous transgressions? By all means, go ahead. I'm not perfect. I have not hidden anything. I'm a big boy. But whenever you try to discredit the message that a parent, that a child is conveying to the world, which is Brownsville, when you're trying to discredit that, I have a big problem with that. Because those individuals, they went to administration. Those individuals, they went through the proper channels. And what happened? Nothing was done. They went to BISD police. Nothing was done. BISD has a serious issue that nobody wants to address. Nobody wants to talk about. We got word that after we talked about Benavides and posted that, we had the principal saying, oh, don't listen to that social media drama. Social media drama? Ma'am, This is drama at your doorstep. This is drama that you're not dealing with. Why is that? Are you protecting teachers over parents and students? Is that what we're getting at? There was a comment that alluded to the fact that there was, what was it, false allegations or false misrepresentation, or alluding to the fact that people are manipulating things. And I said, well, again, there are two sides to every story, right? Hernandez, no matter the situation, there's always two sides to it. I understand that. But whenever we start hearing about people, multiple people, that's where I have a problem. That's where I'm like, oh. And these people, from my understanding, they don't know each other. They're people from different walks of life. So, again, I was hesitant. I was hesitant to post this information because, but whenever people start discrediting me, you want proof? I have proof. Post it, dang it. Okay. Give me a second. I'll post. Again, I want to make it very, very clear to my community. I have no friends in this game. I'm talking about politics, and I'm talking about in the real world. You might laugh and say, you don't have friends? I don't have friends. I have acquaintances. I don't have friends. And I do that for a reason. I learned from my former predecessor that people used him for information. And look, it's a two-way street, right? I understand that. But they expected him not to talk about them because of their friendship. My loyalty, my commitment is to you, my community. That is where my loyalty lies on. I want our program to solve issues that you are dealing with. When I say that I want a better quality of life for you and your household, I genuinely mean it. We have goals and aspirations to do big things. And look, we have been before you on this time slot for the past 6 months now. And in that short amount of time, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, we have been doing great things, amazing things. We have been tackling issues at the city, tackling issues at the school district. We've been talking about important issues at the county, and I'll continue to do so. Our goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to fight for you, to fight for your family. If that makes me a punching bag, if that puts me to put a bigger target on my back, again, I've been threatened with my life at least 3 times that I could think of, that I know of, possibly more in 6 months. I've been threatened with lawsuits a couple times. Have that stopped us from being on the air? No. We're talking about very delicate issues. Why? Because they're important. And look, People criticize us. Políticos say that this is garbage, that this is not true, fake news. You know why? Because we're hitting them where it hurts. We're talking about issues that are delicate. We're talking about issues that, the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. Again, I'm hesitant to do so, but at the end of the day, I made a commitment. I made a commitment that I will be there for my community. You may laugh at me, but I'm a fighter. I'm not a coward. I have balls. And I'm not scared. Maybe that could affect my professional career, my future aspirations, my political aspirations. That doesn't bother me. Because whenever I have concerned parents messaging me and sending me videos of their child crying and them talking about the issue, it moves me. It really does. And it leads me to believe that we are fighting the good fight. People at BISD don't like me. I'm okay with that. Chingao, my own family doesn't like me. For what reasons? I don't know. Chat. You wanted it? You got it. I'm going to post. Give me 1 minute. Here we go, chat. In 3, 2, 1. I'm going to get in trouble. But again, I have no friends in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Ni modo. I got to do what's right. Done. It's been posted. Let me just give me 1 minute. I'm going to include the one comment. I am going to include one. One second. I'm going to omit one name that has nothing to do with this, but they were brought. All right, chat. It's been done. Today's going to be a very interesting day, if it hasn't been already. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a very, very important issue that is going to be dealt with. It's going to be before us in the very near future. If you're not aware, the Brownsville Independent School District will be going out for a bond of $1 billion. Yes, you heard that right. This bond that is being presented and pushed as of late will be eclipsing the 1 billion mark. How do you feel about schools being renovated, air conditions being fixed, schools being maintained, giving facelifts, a performing arts center being built? Are you okay with tax dollars being spent of upwards of $1 billion? And that is how we will start today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville.
Ballot in November. Bond proposal for Brownsville ISD will be on the ballot in November. Channel 5 Stephanie Rosales spoke to the district about what's included and what it means for property taxes.
Brownsville ISD wants to upgrade some of its campuses. It will be up to voters to decide if that happens.
And addresses fixing, going to 39 schools and making the situation better for our students.
In November, voters within Brownsville ISD jurisdiction will choose between two propositions on the November ballot. One is a $385 million bond. The money would be used for improvements to 39 schools across the district. Some of the improvements include air conditioning and roofing. Windows would also be replaced. The bond would also pay for the creation of a career and technical education center. Proposition B is a $75 million bond. A performing arts center would be built with that money.
One of the other things about the Performing Arts Center is that we will use it, but it's also available for other entities.
Property taxes would go up for some people if the bond is passed. The amount depends on the home value and state homestead exemption. That has some voters concerned.
It's already as high as it is, and taxes, well, it's like anything else, you have to pay for them, right?
Brownsville ISD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Chavez says the current tax rate sits at 24 cents. If the bond proposal is approved, the tax rate would rise in small increments, with the cap at 28 cents over the next 5 years.
So it's not going to be something that happens immediately, right? Going up, let's say, from the 4 cents to a higher amount. Yes, it'll go up 3-4 cents a year. And again, different amounts for each of the years.
Olvera says while he doesn't want taxes to go up, he does see the benefit of a performing arts center.
If I'm going to pay taxes, I'd rather have that feeling I pay taxes for something that's going to help the kids, not the property owners. So because we're going to have to pay taxes, the kids, our future, that's why I want to help.
Local teachers union, Brownsville Educators Stand Together, hopes voters vote yes on both propositions. In a statement, they say children and employees of the district should be able to go to schools that are conducive to learning in the 21st century and are not hazardous to their health. The bond election is set for November 4th. In Brownsville, Stephanie Rosales, Channel 5 News.
Now, today's program is titled, Is Brownsville ISD asking for a bailout of $1 billion? We have seen how in previous years, United States presidents have bailed out industries, have bailed out us, the people, as long as we can remember. This isn't something new. Whenever we look at what happened back during President George W. Bush's tenure, the 2008 financial crisis bailouts, the financial system collapsed after the Lehman Brothers and the mortgage crisis failed. This helped Citigroup, Bank of America. Also, the world saw how this financial crisis was something that was necessary. Back in 2008, this was called the Great Recession, was a severe global economic downturn that we hadn't seen in a long time. And this was triggered, ladies and gentlemen, by a housing bubble, mortgage defaults throughout the United States. This ultimately spread through the financial system and collapsed mortgages that were backed by securities. Now, this crisis, it did lead to the collapse or near collapse of major financial institutions, a widespread housing market downturn. We saw how there was significant job losses. Ultimately, this resulted in government intervention and new financial regulations, which is known as the Dodd-Frank Act. And the reason why this happened was there were multiple reasons. There were years of loose credit and interest rates that they were lending risky loans to borrowers with poor credit. And we can talk about over and over again about how some auto dealerships, they give cars to just about anybody, knowing that they really can't afford them moving forward. But this was a pressing issue back in 2008. There were regulation failures. Financial industries usually have restrictions, but this was a time where there was an increase in risk-taking and speculative behavior. The banks failed in 2008. Financial institutions such as AIG, Merrill Lynch, Lehman Brothers, they failed, and they desperately needed and required government bailouts. The Dow Jones plummeted. The financial crisis, it spread, not just here in the US, but globally, as banks in Europe and other regions, they faced significant losses from investments here in the United States. What happened from this? What was the aftermath of the Great Recession of 2008? Well, this led to high unemployment, a significant drop in household wealth. Ultimately, the government, they had to step in. This led to new regulations in regards to financial reforms. Again, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street reform. This ultimately increased oversight of banks and financial markets. Let's not forget another bailout that we saw during our time. Shortly after President Obama assumed office, there was the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. We saw how these individuals needed to be saved. It seems as if during the tenure of President George W. Bush, there was this Great Recession, this financial crisis, and that creeped in to President Obama's tenure. President Obama is known in history as saving the automobile industry. The purpose of this was to provide a stimulus package designed to save jobs, create new ones, provide relief to those affected by the recession. There were investments that were made directly funding towards infrastructure, healthcare, renewable energy. This presidential task force of the automobile industry helped companies such as General Motors and Chrysler, to name a few. The government provided approximately $25 billion in loans to support the automobile suppliers and major companies with the goal of preventing further collapse and also allowing them to promote restructuring. Most recently, ladies and gentlemen, we saw how there was the COVID relief fund, the COVID checks. Who can forget that? This was a time, ladies and gentlemen, where we saw how the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARE Act, issued out $2.2 trillion. This was an economic stimulus bill, which was passed by the Congress and signed by President Donald Trump in March 2020 in response to the economic fallout of the COVID pandemic. That is what we have seen as of late. We have seen governments, how they have been so focused on bailing out the housing market during President Bush's tenure, the automobile industry during Obama, and ultimately President Trump. This economic relief that was given to the American people. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, what we have seen and what has transpired as of late, we have seen bailouts at the highest level. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now what we're seeing firsthand. Have a good day, my man. Now what we have seen firsthand. Happy birthday, Faith, Hope, and Love. Hope you have a great day. I think I saw you at Michoacana, no? The Paleta place. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. Now what we're seeing here locally is that the school district in Brownsville is asking you, the taxpayer, for a bailout. Now, you're asking yourself, Frankie, why are you titling this program? Why are you titling this program that this bailout is going to be for $1 billion? $1 billion? Why? Well, let's talk about it. Because this is something that the school district does not want you to know. They don't want to throw this number out there because it's going to scare you. What have you seen as of late? We have seen how the school district is promoting these two propositions. One for maintenance, A, and proposition B is for the building the Performing Arts Center. Let's take a look. Here before you, ladies and gentlemen, we have what has been on the social media website, Facebook page of BISD. You know, nothing out of the ordinary, right? When we first take a glance, Frankie, what are you talking about? This is the propositions that were passed. There's nothing to look at here. Frankie, move on, move on. Well, let's read this. It states the Brownsville ISD 2025 bond propositions. Proposition A, $385 million. This is a district-wide renovation and improvements. Also, they're going to be building a $30 million career technology education building. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. That's Proposition A. Look at Proposition B. $75 million authorized the construction of a new performing arts center. And the board members, they had an option to choose. Let me blow it up. Maybe we can't see it. Maybe it's not eligible. The board members, ladies and gentlemen, they had an opportunity to choose. Okay, do you want the simple performing arts center? Do you want the más o menos, or do you want the extravagant one? And of course, they voted for the most expensive one. It's like my friend always said, might as well go out with a bang, right? Ya se entracalaron, plus what's another 20 million more? 40 million more. So we have the school district, ladies and gentlemen, promoting this bond and saying, do it for the children. It's all about them. Let me post something I have here that, where are they traveling to? Interesting. Let me post something. I do apologize, fam. I did get information earlier. I wanted to confirm, but now I have confirmation. The mayor, the mayor, John Cowan, Commissioner Linda Macias, and recently appointed PUB board member Martin Sarkis are all at the airport right now. Let's see. Did they post it? Did they post this? Oh, let me see. I'm going to post. I need a picture. I'm going to tag the city of Brownsville. No, I'm going to tag. Yes, I'm going to tag the city of Brownsville. No, the Brownsville Airport. Brownsville Airport. City of Brownsville. Boom. Commissioner and recently appointed PUB board member. The city manager went with him as well, and the city attorney. They were going to DC yesterday and flew out with a very young looking companion. Interesting. Thank you so much for that information. I needed confirmation, and now I got it. Thank you. It's a busy Monday, chat. Busy Monday, fam. Trying our best to keep on top of it all. Anyways, so we have this bond that is being promoted by the school district. And blogs as well is saying, oh, this person is encouraging it. This person is encouraging it. How do you feel? You, the community, you're the important one. You watching today. How do you feel about your property taxes being increased? Not just slightly, exponentially, by a lot. It's going to be huge. Huge. Look at what it says down here. It says, please note, not all project details, including timelines, scope, and costs, are preliminary and may change. Costs are based on initial estimates from district consultants and are subject to revision. This is what is on the BISD website. Again, it's always important for us to read the fine print. Always important. It's like whenever you go buy a car, right? Whenever you have a contract. Yes, everything looks good in bold and dark and black. Everything looks good. But what do the little letters say? Where people just, tú fírmale aquí, pero ¿qué dice? No, don't worry about that. Just, tú dale. Do you read the fine print whenever you go buy a car? Do you read the fine print whenever you buy a house? We should. It's recommended. That's why they say whenever there is a big business deal, they always say, I'm going to take the contract to my attorney. I'll be back to you in a week. Maybe us poor folks, us common folks, maybe we are just quick to sign. Sign. It's like whenever you go to that, I'm not going to name the dealership, but you know what I'm talking about. They give cars to everyone with a 24.5% interest rate. You sign on paper that you're going to pay for a car $15,000 in 6 years. You're paying double that. Do you read the fine print, ladies and gentlemen? Whenever BISD posts this, are you reading at the very bottom of what it's trying to say? Please note that all project details, including timelines, scope, and costs, are preliminary and may change. Costs are based on initial estimates from district consultants and are subject to revision. What does that mean? Have you built a house before? I personally have never built a house. That's something that always intrigues me. I hope one day I'm able to retire and I'm able to focus on building homes, on flipping homes, on being a slumlord. Maybe one day. But people in that environment, in that industry, they always say, be prepared, because you always get a number at the beginning, and then during construction, what happens? Oh, we are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 short. What do you mean? I allocated a certain amount of time, a certain amount of money. This was my budget. Yes, but costs go up. Inflation goes up. Businesses charge an extra fee for XYZ. The school district, ladies and gentlemen, at BISD does not want you to know that this bond that they're asking for could potentially rise significantly. Why are you saying this, Frankie? Because we're being lied to. What do you mean we're being lied to? They say here clearly, this is the cost for Proposition A, 385, renovations, improvement, CTE center, and then Proposition B, $75 million to authorize the construction of a new performing arts center. What do you mean they're lying? They're telling you, Frankie. They're saying they're giving you figures, Frankie. How would you feel if I made you a proposition, but I left out important details? Details that were ultimately going to affect your pocketbooks. What would you say? Frankie, you lied to me. You weren't being completely truthful with me. What do you mean? I told you the details. Yes, but why didn't you tell me that this was going to grow and was going to increase? BISD, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to paint a picture that it is a good thing for your property taxes to increase. Are you serious right now? Do they not read the room? Do they not know what the common folk is dealing with in a day-to-day basis in the city of Brownsville? Do they not know that we have mom and pops living on a fixed income that can't afford rent, can't afford gas, could barely pay for their prescriptions, could barely pay to make ends meet? and they want to increase their taxes? What world do they live in, ladies and gentlemen? How could Board President Daniel Lopez Valdez, Vice President Frank Ortiz, Denise Garza, Jessica Gonzalez, and La Golden Girl, how can they look you in the face and say this $1 billion bond is good for you? What? What do you mean? Essentially, and look, we're very thankful. We're very thankful that our program gets viewed and followed by community members such as yourself, but we also get followed by the politicos. We also get followed by elected officials. A few weeks ago, we had a representative for District 37, Jenny Lopez. She commented from her from her political page, and she said, we in Austin are fighting hard to keep costs down, to lower your taxes, while elected officials here locally are increasing your taxes. Can you see what's going on? We have a representative in Austin that is fighting to lower your pay, to keep money in your pockets. Just got a message, chat. Damn, it's going to be a busy Monday for myself. Wow. It's going to be a busy Monday for myself. Thank you so much, Brownsville. I really appreciate the confidence that you have in your humble servant. Remember, I'm a fighter, and I will fight for you, no matter what predicament I'm in, no matter if I get a bigger bullseye on my back. I live for this stuff. I love it. Where was I? Representative Jenny Lopez is stating that she's fighting tirelessly to keep money in your pockets. She wants to save you money. And we have, I'm trying to be nice, we have board members at our local school district saying, oh, well, it's okay. Let's raise people's property taxes. It's okay. What, you're poor? You can't afford $200, $300, $400 more a year? What? Ladies and gentlemen, I've stated this before, and again, I know I have my production team in my ear saying, Frankie, please don't repeat yourself. I have the fortune of working with our elderly population, those recipients of Medicare and Medicaid. I also assist clients that are disabled. I help them apply for state benefit programs, in particular, the Medicare Savings Program, also known as Medicaid. I also help them apply for food stamps. It is my job to try and maximize the amount of benefits that I'm able to provide and give to eligible clients that I have. That is my job. That is what I focus on. I do this on a day-to-day basis. When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that my clients suffer greatly whenever I tell them you lost benefits, you lost $10, $20, $30, $40. They're upset at me. What do you mean I lost 30? What are you doing? Well, sir, ma'am, there have been changes. Every year, the state does revisions. The expectations change. Eligibility requirements are drastically changing year in and year out. You know, we have federal funds being, aren't going to be given. So there's a lot. So whenever I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that people are greatly affected by the loss of benefits of $10, $20, $30, $40, I'm being sincere. I'm being genuine. And I see this firsthand, and it bothers me. It's like, I feel for my clients. I really do. Because to us, ladies and gentlemen, $10, $20, hey, it's $10, $20. But to people on a fixed income, ladies and gentlemen, those $20 is a lot. It's a lot. What troubles me the most is that these politicians, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again, they're out of tune. They're out of touch. They can't read the room. And what they try to the way they try to spin it is, it's for the children. You're going to say no to the children? You really are going to say no to the children? And they try to attack your emotions and say, don't you want to give the best to our children? Don't you want to do this to our children? Don't you want them to have the best facilities, a performing arts center to They always go for your emotions. Why are you saying, Frankie, that the bond in which the voters will decide on will ultimately be $1 billion? Why are you saying that, Frankie? Well, let's take a look. Here we have before you on the screen. Can you see it? Yes, we can. Thank you so much. Here I have before you on the screen El Run Run by Juan Montoya. I consider him as the godfather of the blog sphere. Him and other bloggers have kept the community abreast, kept the community informed for the longest time. And it's because of people like Juan Montoya that my interest in politics at the national level, even here locally, more importantly, here locally, how my interest in these issues grew. I remember when I first graduated from college, I started reading El Run Run, and I knew what was going on with local politics, because at the end of the day, it is people such as Juan Montoya and other bloggers that tell you information that the major news companies, organizations, that they can't talk about. And we stated before and we stated again that we feel as if they do a disservice to the people because they don't give them all the information. They give them a lopsided information. They don't tell the people the truth. They only tell what the políticos want them to hear. Juan Montoya's article reads the following. It says, it's titled, BISD bonds will depend on what voters decide November the 4th. Bond package, 2 propositions. Proposition A is for $385 million. This consists of district-wide renovations and improvements. This is for roofing, HVAC, lighting, plumbing, windows, renovations, canopies, parking lots, safety and security, wheelchair lifts, elevators, transportation building, police evidence room, CTE phase 2. That's for Proposition A. Proposition B states for $75 million to authorize the construction of a new performing arts facility. It states, construct a multi-use performing arts center to support district fine arts program and community events designed to accommodate up to 1,800 seats for diverse district and community use. The total bond amount that you will see on your ballot to vote yes or no for these propositions will be in the sum of $460 million, close to $500 million. But Frankie, you said, and you titled your program, that the school district is asking for a bailout of $1 billion. Were you wrong, Frankie? Did you misspeak? Well, let's keep reading. It states, advocates of the bond issue may say the repairs to the schools and new improvements are necessary to maintain a safe, learning-induced environment for current students and next generations of classes of Brownsville Independent School Districts to come. And they say the new Performing Arts Center will place the district on even level with neighboring districts. If your home is appraised below $140,000, you will not pay additional taxes. However, if it is appraised above $140,000, it will result in additional taxes depending on how high it is appraised. Opponents say the local property tax burden is already too high and that the district should target top administrators who they say are already overpaid. They say the district should address waste and mismanagement of district assets before burdening the taxpayer with even more debt. They say the district should become more competitive to stop the hemorrhaging of students to local charter schools, which cost the district in attendant payments from the state. Additionally, they say that the Cameron County Appraisal District continues to overvalue properties, making the $140,000 exemption meaningless. Do you see what Juan Montoya is stating? Let's look at this. He makes a great point. Let's look at this. If your house is appraised below $140,000, you will not pay additional taxes. However, if it is appraised above $140,000, it will result in additional taxes depending on how high it is appraised. I asked my community, bring me up. I asked my community, do you know a house that is appraised below $140,000? Now, if we're talking about 10 years ago, if we're talking about pre-SpaceX, what's the new school off of on Rancho? South Texas, pre-South Texas ISD, maybe. If we go back 15, 20 years, the appraisal rates weren't as high. But now that we have the likes of Elon Musk, the world's richest man, making Brownsville, Boca Chica Beach, his home, now property values have skyrocketed exponentially. So what the school district is saying is, don't worry, this isn't an increase of property taxes. But what they're not telling you is that your house has to be appraised below $140,000. Que chulos. Again, if I tell you something and omit important information, wouldn't you say, Frankie, you're lying? What do you mean I'm lying? I'm being truthful. I told you XYZ. Yes, but you're leaving out important information, Frankie. What would you say? You're a liar, Frankie, because you're not telling me this. Did you know that you were going to pay taxes if your property is worth or appraised above $140,000? Because the board members, they don't want. Do you see any wording of property tax increase in any of the information that they have provided? No. Why? Because they don't want to scare you. Because they know when people hear of a property tax increase, they're going to say, Patricia Hernandez, no, 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 no. Your board members are not being truthful with you. Your board Thanks for sending me that. Your board members are not being truthful with you. They're not letting you know the whole enchilada. Again, we pride ourselves on telling you the good, the bad, and the ugly, the black and the white. We stay away from the gray area. We want to give you the whole enchilada. What you decide to do with that information is out of my hands, ladies and gentlemen. So essentially, they're not telling you that this is going to increase your taxes. They're not telling you that, are you? They're just saying, oh, it's a bond. It's for the kids. It's for the students. We want new classrooms. We want a new performing arts center. Yes. Vote. Yes, 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 yes. Who stands to benefit from this, ladies and gentlemen? Ask yourself, who stands to benefit from a bond of close to $500 million initially, and when it's all said and done, that's going to double to close to $1 billion? Who benefits from this? Engineers benefit from this. Consultants benefit from this. Architects benefit from this. Board members benefit from this. Come on. Bankers benefit from this. Of course they want you to increase, to pass this bond. Developers, contractors, engineers, architects, developers, builders, they're salivating at her. I could taste that money. They don't care about your property taxes being raised. They don't care about us living paycheck to paycheck. They could care less. They see gold and they're going to get it no matter what it takes. Now, again, if we had a thriving economy, if we had opportunities here in our local area, if we saw a future that is bright, I would say, you know what? It's not a bad thing after all. I would support it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are one of the poorest areas in all of the United States here in South Texas. We are the most least educated areas in all of the United States. And these people want to drain your money, want to suck your blood. They want to suck you dry. Whoa, calmate. Do they not see what we're dealing with? Am I going crazy? Is anyone listening to me? Is there anyone out there? Good God. How can these board members look you in the face and say, this is good for you? It's not. But, como dice el gran, I won't mention his name, aún hay más. Let's continue reading. Again, opponents say the local property tax burden is already too high and that the district should target top administrators who they say are already overpaid. They say the district should address waste and mismanagement of district assets before burdening the taxpayer with even more debt. They say the district should become more competitive to stop the hemorrhaging of students to local charter schools, which ultimately cost the district in attendance payments from the state. Additionally, they say that the Cameron County Appraisal District continues to overvalue district properties, making the $140,000 exemption meaningless. Now, let's take a look at the numbers because, again, it's all about the numbers. I love them too. Send them my regards. I love them too. Send them my regards. Let's take a look at the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. So essentially, the school district is asking to borrow $450 million. Let's call it $500 million at 6% for 30 years. Let's break it down. The monthly payment would be $2.7 million. Look at the interest that is going to be paid. $520 million on interest alone. Who's going to benefit from this? The banks. Does Daniela Lopez Valdez have a father who sits on a bank that does business with BISD? Maybe their bank is going to bid and going to loan the school district money. Is that, what is it, Lone Star? Are they going to benefit from this handsomely? Makes you wonder. So you mean to tell me that the bankers, the banks, the financial institutions, we're going to pay $550 million in interest, more than what we're asking to borrow? Are you stupid? Are you serious? Ladies and gentlemen, I want a Lamborghini. I want a Ferrari. I really do. And I hope one day before I die, before I meet my maker, I hope I'm able to sit in one. I hope I'm able to take a picture. I hope to pick up a babe in my Lamborghini and say, baby, let's go for a cruise. But the reality is that I'm a broke Mexican. I live paycheck to paycheck. More than likely, I'm never going to drive the Lamborghini. More than likely, I'm not going to pick up that hot babe. That's my reality. I want a Lamborghini. I want a Ferrari. But I'm a broke Mexican. That's reality. So you mean to tell me that the school district is proposing for us to pay $520 million on interest? Really? But remember, who pays the tariffs? Other countries pay the tariffs. Initially, we pay for it. But what does that force us to do? To buy domestically. How, ladies and gentlemen, how can this pass when we have a divided board right down the middle? Vendors are lining up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why didn't they mention schools a clusters at a time? Why all at once, ladies and gentlemen? If you don't think, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that the vendors are lining up these board members for breakfast, for lunch, oh, baby, let me tell you, they're salivating. They can't wait for this, ladies and gentlemen. They can't wait for this. Do you see what we're going with? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Why don't they maintain schools a cluster at a time? Why can't this be done a step at a time, a step at a time, a step at a time? Why de un fregazo? Why? It would be smart for us to focus little by little. Right? We would think. But it's that mentality that many of us have. Pues, I'm already in debt. Might as well, pues, ya estoy entracalado. Might as well do it a little bit more. Really? Really, ladies and gentlemen? Is that what you want from your board? Is this what you want from your elected leaders? Don't they see that we're struggling? Again, who's going to benefit from it? The board members, handsomely. Why? Because some of them are coming up for re-election. And remember, someone that comes to mind is Frank Ortiz. Why are you saying Frank Ortiz? Why? Well, something happened not too long ago. Something happened that kind of, I don't know, kind of makes me wonder. Why? Why is he voting for this now? Frank Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, if you don't remember, Frank Ortiz at one time voted for this issue of the bond not to pass. He sided with Carlos Elizondo and Minerva Peña to not pass this bond. At one time, this bond was a lot lower. This bond, if I'm not mistaken, was in the 200s, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. We have good audience today, good numbers today. Why is Frank Ortiz now voting in favor of this? Again, back in February, he voted against passing a bond that was essentially a lot cheaper. And now, was it because they made him vice president? Is that why he's in favor of the bond now? Was this a political stunt? Give me what I want and then I'll vote for it? Is this what we come down to, Mr. Frank Ortiz? Is it because now your cousin is on the board that you voted on, that you didn't inform the community that there was some sort of relationship there? Is that the reason why now you're voting with the majority, with the Golden Girl? Because now you have a family member on that board? Or is it, ladies and gentlemen, or is it because Frank Ortiz is running for re-election? Does Frank Ortiz see the writing on the wall that many community members are sick and tired of his lack of action? He's been given the nickname of the Scarecrow, that doesn't do nothing, that does as he's told. Mr. Frank Ortiz, did you side with the majority for a position of being vice president on the school board? Did you side with the majority after they voted in your cousin that you did not disclose this relationship to the community? People are saying, I see nothing wrong with this. Yeah, that's called nepotism. Oh, she's a great person. She could be Mother Teresa. It's wrong. It was wrong then. It's still wrong now. Now, you could say, Frankie, well, that's the wife's cousin. Was that disclosed? I'm nephew of the former board member. I should have been voted in. Why is Frank now voting for this? Is he because he was given the vice presidency? Is he because of the Golden Girl, his family, his cousin that he voted when he didn't disclose that information to the community? Or is it because of the almighty dollar? Because he's running for re-election and he sees that he's going to have competition. People are going to line up against Frank Ortiz. Without a doubt in my mind, they're going to line up against him. Again, who's going to benefit from this, ladies and gentlemen? Vendors right now are lining up breakfast, lunch, and dinners to make sure that this happens. For them to say, yes, support, support, support. Again, the vendors, ladies and gentlemen, if they drop $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on these candidates, to them it's a drop in the bucket. It's like if you ask me for a penny, well, I'll struggle giving you that penny. To them, $5,000, ladies and gentlemen, on a campaign contribution is nothing. You know why? Because they're going to break bank. They're going to hit the mother load. Again, BISD, Dr. Chavez, why are you putting this burden on the taxpayers? Again, do we need some sort of facelift? I guess because we failed to maintain through previous years. Who do I blame? I blame Inera Peña. I blame Carlos Elizondo. Previous board members that have been there. Multiple administrations. We should do a better job of, hey, where are we with the maintenance? But okay, that issue is already long and gone. We can't talk about that because, oh, we look bad. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Why don't we break this up a little bit more? Why don't they maintain clusters, school clusters at a time? Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask for a bond of $100 million, of $50 million, and we're going to address these schools, the east part of Brownsville, these schools. Why is it de un fregazo? To me, my mama would say, you're being irresponsible, Frankie. You want me to lend you what? Can't you make it with a little sprinkle? Can't you ask me for a little bit? You know, if we came to the community and said, you know what? We hate to do this, ladies and gentlemen. We hate to increase your taxes, but we are in desperate need of repairs. We are going to do this by sections, so you won't feel the pinch. That would be hard to argue against. Why? Because we would have the taxpayers in their minds and say, you know what? I don't want to burden you even more. I don't want you to affect your pocketbooks. So we're going to do this strategically, one cluster at a time. But no. Why, Hernandez? Because they see the feria. Ya estamos entracalados, pues dale gas. You see where I'm getting at? You see where I'm getting at? Let's take a look at this. BISD wants you to get less tax savings from state and homestead exemptions by, well, let's break it down. Can we see this on paper? This is the 2025 bond funding and taxes, the projected BISD taxes per year. I don't understand these board members, how they can look people in the face and say, I'm doing something good for you. This is beneficial to you. No, it's not. Again, BISD always thinks retroactively. These leaders aren't good leaders. They're not good stewardess. What's the word that Daniel Lopez Valdez loves to say? Oh, we're being fiscally responsible. We're being fiscally responsible. Really? Really? Are they really being fiscally responsible? Now, let's take a look at charter schools. Charter schools, they're brand new. They have new ACs, new buses, new parking lots. Those money should have been for public schools. Why do state legislators continue to point the finger at private schools when charter schools are their biggest competition? We spoke about South Texas ISD momentarily. South Texas ISD is on our tax statements, and a handful of students from Brownsville go there. Should we stop paying those taxes and redirect them to BISD? Daniela's mom and dad served on that board. God rest her soul. God rest her soul. Again, Daniela's kids go to private school. Her parents served on South Texas ISD. Nothing to do with BISD. And she wants to increase your taxes? Oh my. Am I going crazy here? Come on, people. Look at the big picture. How could they look you in the face while Daniela Lopez Valdez has kids in private school when her parents were board members on South Texas ISD? It doesn't make sense. If you aren't aware, South Texas ISD has a state-of-the-art school right in front of Rancho Viejo. More monies from taxpayers that are not serving who? Us, the citizens of Brownsville. They're not serving us. I will tell you something, though. People are fed up with taxes when these clowns misuse our monies. I can't find somebody that says, yes, take my money. Take it, then. Llévatelo. What do you want? You want the shirt off my back too? Here, take it, chingo. You want it? Take it. Take it. Here. What else do you want? You want it? Take it. What is this? Puro Express, papa. I'm sick and tired of these politicians wanting to raise our taxes. Are you serious? Don't you not see the writing on the wall? My people are struggling to make ends meet, to pay bills, and you want them to pay even more taxes? Why? Because they don't care about you. They could care less about you. They don't care about you, ladies and gentlemen. They could give a rat's behind about you. But oh, yes, it's all about the children, right? We need this because of the children. Los huercos were fine before, they'll be fine after. We did okay for ourselves. We have a performing arts center. When you think about, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about politicians from the city, from the school, from the county, here locally, people are fed up with taxes because they misuse our monies. Look what happened at the county. The county tax rolls went up after the property taxes went up. The first thing they did was give themselves raises. They didn't direct them to the streets. They didn't direct them toward the people. Again, we here at Good Morning Brownsville, we want you to think of us when we run for public office. Why? Because we genuinely want to improve your quality of life, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be a Robin Hood. I'll take and I'll give it to your feet. I'll really do that. You could hold me to that. These people don't care about you, ladies and gentlemen. They really don't. When it comes down to it, this is very scary, ladies and gentlemen. After 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, this bond will rise to the sum of $1 billion with a B. Billion. Really? For what? For them to mismanage more of our money? Really? Do we really trust our politicians with this? Really? What can be done about this? How do you feel? How do you feel of them asking for a bond of $450 million and we find out that interest alone, that bankers, financial institutions will make $520 million alone? After 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, the bond will come out to 430 people have been seeing this live. Thank you so much, fam. When it's all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, after 30 years, this bond will be $1 billion. We, the community, need to send a strong message as we have before. Many people were very vocal about Cameron County and their quest to build an arena. Not once, not twice, but 3 times the citizens of Cameron County voted no. I asked my citizens November the 4th to vote no. We do not need this. Again, Guillermo, wouldn't you want a Lamborghini? Toker, wouldn't you want a Ferrari? We all want the luxuries of life, but we can't afford it. And what, we're going to make our parents pay for it? I'm not sure what you're asking, Magnolia. We're talking about a bond that in its inception is going to be $450 million. After 30 years, that 450 is going to balloon to $1 billion. Voting for what? On November the 4th, ma'am, if you are a resident, taxpayer for the city of Brownsville, you will be able to vote yes or no, whether you want the local school district here in the city of Brownsville to go out for a bond of $450 million, how we have it here on the screen. We've been talking about how we, the voters, we can fix this because we have politicians in office that don't care about us, that are okay with raising our taxes. Are you okay with our taxes getting raised? Are you okay with a bond over 30 years reaching $1 billion? Are you okay with that? I think any logical person would say thumbs down. That's ridiculous. Again, let's be strategic. Let's be smart about things. Let's work in phases. Let's do the job right. Let's show the community that we can get things done. If we can show the community that and something small will come through, the community will say, "Yeah, they did a good job with this. Yes, let's do another one and another one and another one." Cougar makes another interesting point. Very good point, Cougar. BISD should sell all properties from schools. Why is BISD holding on these properties? They can use these monies to fix the deteriorating schools. That's a very good point. Again, did we ever get word, ladies and gentlemen, about what happened to the back in 2016, 2017, there was a TRE where, if I'm not mistaken, taxes were collected from the idea that a performing arts center was going to be built. We are close to 10 years from that. We have yet to see a performing arts center in the city of Brownsville. What happened to that money? Where did that money go? Is that money that has been collected since 2016, 2017, is this going to offset some sort of money? I don't believe so. If they do, I think they'll be able to charge them, but I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I don't believe so. There's so many question marks, ladies. There's so many question marks in regards to this issue. Like, really? Look, it's as if we lived in a trailer park, in a trailer, in a trailer. And outside we want a Lambo. We want a Porsche. My God, are you kidding me? Really? Really? It's kind of mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling for me, ladies and gentlemen, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And look, BISD has not given a good example as of late. There are many allegations. People are asking for an audit. There was a Nigerian prince that stole $1 million. Did we ever find out the outcome of that? Was that an inside job? Did somebody walk away with a handsome amount of money? There was a board member that was arrested for corruption, found guilty. How can we, with a straight face, look the citizens of Brownsville in the eye and say, we need you to approve $1 billion and your taxes are going to be raised? What? What are you smoking? Can I have some? Está bueno el pedo. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to talk about this issue because it seems as if the school district is hell-bound on making sure that you don't know of the fine print that we were talking about. Remember how we started today's program, ladies and gentlemen? Remember how we started today's program with this? They don't want you to read the fine print at the bottom. They don't want you to realize that project details, timeline, scope, costs, that they're preliminary, that they may change, that these costs are on initial estimates from district consultants, and they are subject to change. They are subject to revision. They don't want you to know that. They just want you to say yes, yes, yes. And then later on, they're going to be like, pues, sí, te quería decir, pero pues, oops, too late. You're on the hook. Sorry. It shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. Our board members are failing us. Our board members are lying to you. Why? Because if they do not disclose the full information, if they do not tell you the realities, such as what we're seeing with Juan Montoya, if they're not showing you this, if they're not showing you that after 30 years, this bond is going to be $1 billion, we have a problem. We have a serious problem because we're lying to the people. We're not being upfront with them. That really bothers me. That really bothers me. Again, whatever you think of me and my person, I understand. And you can criticize me. You can say that we're fake news. You can say that I spoke facts today. Whenever I come before you, I always make sure that I have something to show you. Because again, whatever I say, ladies and gentlemen, to my community, is BISD asking for a bailout of $1 billion after 30 years? Are you okay with that? Again, it's as if I lived in a trailer and I want you to help me acquire a Lamborghini. Doesn't make sense. We, the people, have an opportunity to make this right. We, the people, have an opportunity to send a clear message to these board members, to Daniel Lopez Valdez, to Frank Ortiz, to Denise Garza, to Jessica Gonzalez, and to La Golden Girl. On November the 4th, I ask you that you vote no. Vote no to Proposition A. Vote no for Proposition B. And then when they're up for election, we need to get them out there. We need to get them off the school board because it's been apparent that they don't care about you. All they care about is their pocketbooks. All they care about is campaigning. All they care about is making sure that they have campaign funds from these vendors. Ladies and gentlemen, are you okay with the school district asking for a bailout of $1 billion? If you're not, November the 4th, you will have the opportunity to send a clear message. I ask of you to vote no on both propositions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on, rain or shine, Monday to Friday, religiously. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. As long as you let me, we will continue to talk about the very important issues that are affecting our local community. That way, together, we can be more informed and make better decisions on what's best for us moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!